All right, welcome back to Bluegrass Bassin. This is, I think, my fourth video because my last one didn't upload. Today, I'm going to talk about the Abu Garcia Revo X baitcaster. It is the 7.3 to 1 ratio right-hand retrieve model. Here's a specific lettering, numbering. And you might be watching this because you're about to walk in Bass Pro Cabela's or Academy and buy one. And I would say go ahead if you like the feel of it. But there are probably better options out there, especially if you don't need a lot of line capacity, probably a Shimano SLX. But let me get into the technical aspects of that. And then if you're not on a time crunch, you can sit through this video and make a decision yourself. So it comes in an Abu Garcia box. May I say why I got this reel? I needed a reel to fill my jig/worm category. That's anywhere from 1/4 ounce jigs to 1/2 ounce jigs to Cincos and such. And I wanted to get a Revo. I was looking at a Revo versus an SLX, and the Revo was 20 bucks cheaper. It was on sale, so I went with this. Now, here it is. Here it is in all of its glory. It's a pretty nice reel. It feels, how would I describe it? Beefier, especially when you compare it to other, not lower quality reels, but cheaper reels. It just feels beefier and better made, and that's self-explanatory because it is a $100 reel. Technical specs has 8 bearings, 7+1. Magnetic brakes, worm gear up front, clicking drag star. Hold on, let me see if you all can hear it. Clicking drag star and, hold on, a clicking tension knob as well. That is honestly the first thing I didn't necessarily like about this reel, is I love the clicking drag, but in my opinion, I don't like the clicking tension knob, just because it limits your adjustification of it. You can't adjust your tension as well because you have to go click to click and then unclick it almost. It's weird. When it's smooth, you can vary a lot more of what you're trying to do. But, so here it is. It is bigger, 90 mil handle. I don't know if I said that. That's pretty standard for the $100 category of reels. I got this one for $80. I don't know if I even said that. But let's take a look at the side of the box. So 7.3 to 1, 30 inches per turn for retrieve. 18 pounds of drag. That's pretty standard on the Garcias. It's the carbon fiber drag system they use. They use it in the Silver Max. Which actually, hold on. I want to also go ahead and draw a comparison with something. Alright. Abu Garcia Silver Max right here. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact drag system. But check this out. If you compare them in size, they're the exact same size on the side. Where there's a different feel is, number one, in width. It is a little bit wider, and the handle is not an 80 mil. The Silver Max has an 80 mil. Now, I'm not trying to make this a comparison video, but I am just using that as a reference. I think this reel looks very good, in my opinion. It's blacked out. That's pretty cool. No offense, but I think the SLX looks a little bit better. Just saying. Tolerances on it are tight enough for a $100 reel. Although I will say this, I felt an SLX in my hand, and it honestly felt just as good, if not better. The handle knobs are an upgrade, but when you compare it to other knobs out there, it's honestly not the greatest. But I'm not trying to make this a comparison video, like I said, but I'm rambling, and I am. So looks, obviously I said it looks good. It's all blacked out, and I think it looks clean because up here it's not necessarily rectangled off like an SLX is. It's more, it comes to more of a point, and that is personal preference, if you like that or not. Now, let's get into the inside of the reel. To get into the inside of the reel, you flip that to open. This is going to be very fun to do with one hand. Boom. And it literally just comes off. There's no twisting. Oh, there we go. So you got a 5-magnet braking system, and there's bearing number 1. Your spool comes out. If I'm not mistaken, it is a 34 mil spool. That's why you get the line capacity, which I'm going to get into later. And it holds more than enough line, I'd say. Especially if you're running 12-pound line, 145 yards is a lot. But here is the inside. I'm pretty sure that's the carrier. It's relatively spacious in there. Obviously, here's your bail switch. But there's really nothing else to see. It came somewhat lubed from the factory, but it does not compare to how lues come lubed, or Shimano literally sends you real oil with it. Let me see if I can get this back in with one hand. All right. Let me get this back on. Sorry, y'all. And then literally put it back on. You just flip it back. Come on. Here. Oh, this is so much fun, guys. Oh my goodness. So much fun. Ideally, I cut that out. So while we're still on the topic of the brakes, we can look at how you actually adjust the brakes, and it's literally just a knob that you switch and it'll click. Hold on. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah. And there's 27 positions. All the way here is all the way off. All the way down here is all the way on. I want to go over looks one more time. It says Revo X right here. And then something right there about the King of Sweden. And that kind of knocked me the wrong way because I don't live in Sweden. And I think America's a lot cooler than Sweden. Let's see. What else do I have over here? Drag star and tension. I already talked about the drag star and the tension knob and brake setting, line management, and line capacity. I have taken this reel out one time, fished with it. I should have said that in the beginning. And I was throwing jigs and worms on 17-pound line. And it was holding, depends. It was holding up to throwing that 17-pound line, but it did not like it. And I think that's just by nature of, I was throwing crawls. It was only a crawl on a 4/0 hook with a 3/16 ounce weight. So it's not the heaviest setup, but a decent reel can handle 17-pound line and a light-ish lure. Obviously, that's not too light, but you get the point. And it handled it good enough, but I'm going to try out the SLX. I'm going to return this. It's in great condition, so it's fine. They said I could. But I'm going to return it, swap it for an SLX, and I'm going to try it. And if the SLX handles it better, I will let you know. But I'm pretty sure there are reels, like if you're going to go the magnetic side, lose, or if you're going to go the centrifugal, you'd go the Shimano SLX route. But it handled the line decently, but it would backlash a little bit, and it would not push that backlash out. That's something with Lew's and Shimano's is, at the beginning of the cast, it may backlash, but it works itself out in the cast. This didn't do that, and that's just so weird. But in terms of line management and capacity, that was management. It would probably handle 12-pound just fine. 12-pound is 145 yards. For braid, 30-pound braid is 140 yards. 15-pound line, you get 100 yards, 145. And for 10-pound line, you get 175 yards, which is very far. But here are my issues. Now, may I say, issues that some people have are weird noises coming from the reel after a while, which I haven't had it long enough to tell, but that is reasonable for what I'm about to tell you. And then they also complain about the side plate falling off, which I'm pretty sure that could be user error, but it's very hard to click the side plate back into place and have it shut when your tension is at operating tension and not literally all the way off. So that is Abu Garcia's error, that they did not think past that. It's like how car company, like let's say Ford, makes something with the intent that everybody's going to treat it perfect and do everything pristine and right. and that just doesn't happen, and then it gets a bad rap. That's what happens with this. But here are my issues. After the first trip, which I had actually caught a 2-pounder during this trip, and it worked just fine, and I was in the rain. But I got back, and I had time on my hands, so I was going to clean it. So I went to go lube it up, which there is an external lube port, but I didn't use it. I went to lube it up from the carrier side because I feel that's where it makes the most difference, especially when casting. And what happened was I let the lube sit in there for just a little bit, then I reeled it, and then I went out and I was playing around, pitching and flipping in my front yard, and it was making a clicking noise every time. So it is lube finicky. It's lube specific, and that's not right. It should take whatever real oil you put in there. It makes me angry because you're spending $100 on a reel, and that happens. I mean, $100, you should be getting a quality reel. And from what I know, Shimano makes some quality. Lew's, I know, makes some quality because I used Lew's. That Silver Max right there is phenomenal. It's never given me any issues. But it's like this is trying to do too much for what it is, which is odd, but reasonable at the same time. I say there are better options. Literally, if you do not need 175 yards of 10-pound test or 145 yards 12-pound test, I would go to an SLX because I have felt them and I like them from experience. But what I will say is in this whole $100 category of reels, aluminum frame should come standard, obviously. A 90 mil handle or bigger, and it should feel more robust. It should. I don't think that Abu Garcia knocked it out of the park, but this is a decent reel, right? It's not a bad reel at all. Here, let me try and spin it just so you all can get an idea. Hold on. All right. It doesn't even spin, that well, which is weird. You think it would just spin forever, but it doesn't. So all in all, I just don't necessarily like this reel. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. This feels more like a $75 reel if there was a such thing. But I'm not doing this to dog Abu Garcia because they make amazing products. But personally, I just think that you can get a Silver Max for $50, but you have to pay $100 for this unless it's on sale, which it was. But that's relatively a lot of money. I don't think it's worth it for something that is very finicky and is rumored to not really last long. Also, hate to say it, but Shimano and Daiwa, and Lew's for that matter, all just make better products. I'm sure there are obviously other brands, but unless it is like a Black Max or Silver Max, which are phenomenal reels, they are great, literally. I just don't think this is the way to go necessarily. But that's my closing. Obviously, Abu Garcia, Revo X, Revo 4X dash high speed. And I don't even think 7.3 is too high speed, but 7.3 is a good ratio. It horsed 2-pounder in perfectly. So it handled. There are millions of other reviews on YouTube for this if you really wanted to see a long-term review. But I'm going to return this, get an SLX, and I'll have an SLX review. And then a long-term SLX review, and those will be better quality than this video. I am going to get equipment, but it's all right. In terms of this reel being heavy, it's not too heavy, but the Shimano SLX beats it by an ounce, and I'm sure other reels do. I'm pretty sure the LFS does too, but I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But it's a pretty cool-looking reel, but unless you really like the feel of it and the body of it, which is pretty cool in my opinion. It feels pretty good. My hand wraps around phenomenal, and I have longer fingers. I just go with the Shimano. Lew's makes some of their tournament series on the low end for like 130 and has a 95 mil handle if you really want torque. And obviously they have the LFS. I would have got a Lew's LFS, Speed Spool. But the issue is the knobs were essentially crap, even in comparison to these. And I don't even think these knobs are all that good, especially when you compare them to the Curado knobs on the SLX. But like I said, I turned this video into a comparison, and I did not want to. But there comes a time when you have to, because unless you really like this reel for the body it has, it's realistically not worth it. They did not try and win the bearing war. As you see, there's only 8 bearings, but Shimano's only have 4 bearings, and they do phenomenal. I just don't know what kind of niche this reel was trying to fit other than being the Abu Garcia flagship $100 reel. But one thing that would also last with this reel as time goes on, in addition to it being durable, it should be, and I'm pretty sure it is relatively durable, but resale value. SLXs at the $100 price range have held their value and sold. I've seen them sell for $80 used. That's really good. That's literally only a fifth of the real cost lost, and you got use out of it. But older Shimano's literally keep their value. They're like Subaru, right? The Subaru of the real world. This, people know it's an Abu. It's not too great, in my opinion, but it is good. It just depends on what you like. So go to your local Bass Pro, Academy, Cabela's, or something, and try this reel out. See if you like it. Feel it. You can buy it from anywhere and return it. You have 90 days, essentially, at every sporting goods store. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to pick up an SLX. Also, it came with no lube on the worm gear, so I had to put some on. But that's just Abu Garcia cutting costs. And they have cut a lot of costs. If this reel had a flip and switch right here, like the Abu Garcia Silver Max did, I would keep this reel. But unfortunately, that's not the case. If you're pitching and flipping, I don't really think this is the way to go. And, oh my gosh, that is a 69. Oh, that's a General Lee. I wish I'd had that on video. That is so cool. Wow. 69 Charger, but I don't know. It's up to you all if you want to buy this reel. Go into your store, feel it out. I would say there's no performance merits or advantages to getting this reel. It's going to be completely on aesthetics and how it feels in your hand if you want to get it. Because Lew's makes heavier duty stuff for the price point. And Shimano, I believe, just makes a better product with the SLX. But if you do want line capacity, this may be the way to go. So this has been Bluegrass Bassin'. I should probably change the channel name to Ramblin' Man because I rambled. I turned an 8-minute video into 18. But hey, I'm still figuring this YouTube thing out. So God bless y'all. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. I'll see y'all later.